Roy Smith is our marketing analyst this week. With the November crop report looming on November 8th, the latest progress report shows U.S. farmers have harvested 77% of their soybeans and 59% of their corn. Nebraska has combined 94% of its beans, which trails only Louisiana for the progress among the top 18 soybean producing states. We started our interview with Roy by asking for an update on harvest progress in his area of Cass County, Nebraska.
My personal farm, we finished harvest about a week ago and got the corn and beans out in good shape, so pretty happy about that. I'm still helping the neighbor with a little bit of harvest, driving trucks and so forth, but it's slowing down gradually.
Just enough to earn your supper, huh?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, Monday was a bad day for beans. We'll start in soybeans. Monday was a rough day. What's your sense right now overall on beans as you look at both cash and then that nearby contract?
Monday's action was really disappointing. As you know, I watched the dead cat bounce and watched that harvest low, and we got a real distinct harvest low the 1st of October. I mean, you look at the chart and it's hard to miss it, and the market gradually starts working its way up now. Then it took a little hiatus and backed down and went back almost to the harvest low and then came back again, and we were a few cents short of my target where I would normally start selling cash beans, and unfortunately lost 29 cents in the cash market, so now we're back to counting days again.
Which means what going forward?
Well, we would hope that we could get back to that level where we broke down from early part of this week, but you know, there's no guarantee. I'd say that I've seen this happen many times, and the odds are good that we're going to get a little bit of a rebound yet. However, we have a crop report coming out on the 8th of November, and I think everybody needs to be aware of that. I'm not so sure, but what the huge crop that's coming isn't already bid into the price, but it's just a real sensitive time right now.
Yeah, I'll ask you about that crop report towards the close. You were mentioning in your article on agriculture.com that I was reading there's a big spread between now and soybeans and once you get into spring.
Right, I call that the bull spread, or bull spreading. Has nothing to do with rumors at the cafe or anything like that, but the fact that nearby futures are higher than deferred futures, so we call that a bull spread, because that usually is an indication that the processing plants want your soybeans now as opposed to next spring, and so they're paying a premium to get them now while we're still waiting on the South American crop. That really, first of all, that's one of the factors that's involved in the dead cat bounce, but it really gives farmers an opportunity to get those beans sold and cashed in before spring comes around.
I'll move to corn before asking you about next week's report. Is there a chance, is there a likely chance that corn could dip below that $4 mark?
It all depends on how the trade interprets this report that's coming out the 8th of November. Yes, there's always a chance. I have to think that less than $4, the corn is a pretty good buy for people that need it to feed hogs and cattle. But we've got quite a bit of harvest left, and there's always a chance that we'll maybe run past the logical price, that floor that we'd like to see, and then later on when the harvest is over and the bin doors are locked, get some kind of a rebound.
I'll ask you about basis in this area of Nebraska for both corn and soybeans. What does basis look like?
I'm a little disappointed that we haven't seen any response in basis on the soybeans. Usually when we get towards the end of harvest, we start seeing the basis improve. But it hasn't happened this year, at least not to any great extent, and they seem to be putting their money in the cash bid as opposed to the basis, and so you know, that's one of the things I look at in confirmation of a dead cat bounce is when the basis is narrow and it starts getting wider. Well, we haven't seen it narrow yet, so it's pretty much been steady, I guess, for several months.
All right, now the one that'll get the headlines. The November crop report comes out next Friday. It's the first crop report since really before harvest began in September. How do you recommend protecting yourself around this report?
Well, there's a lot of things you can do. The simplest is to make some cash sales next week before the report comes out. In fact, I'll be looking to maybe make some sales of soybeans that are already in the elevator and cash in that way. You can use futures. If you're short futures already with hedges on, I say leave them on and hope for the basis to improve. I looked at the options premiums. They're still pretty stiff, and most people don't want to pay very much to get that guarantee. So options are always a possibility, but if you've never done it before, go real slow and be sure you understand the strategy.